how we design our research answers that question, and we get to connect with the user's point of view. Now, later on today, you're going to go to the fields to talk to actual users. And so we're going to give you a few points that you can use to design your research. And what will you need when doing this research? Number one, you need users, obviously. The people who actually consume the products and services that your organizations produce. So when you're thinking about coming up with your research design, you have to choose between what kind of user do you want to use to test, or to ask the questions, or to derive information from, right? So there are two kinds of users, the extremes and the mainstreams. For example, you're trying to find out in the education sector, what are the trends as far as education is concerned? When you look at extremes, an extreme user in that case would be probably a PhD professor who spent years in education. I mean, they're well versed with all aspects of education. They're passionate about it. They're obsessed with all things education. So you'll go to extremists when you're trying to learn future trends about your research question, your research topic. Or if you're trying to find out information about mainstream, yeah? Why would you go with a mainstream user? Let's say, for example, the same scenario about the education sector. Probably we'd go with a parent who has a child in high school. That's what everybody does, yeah? That's what most people, like the majority of population, are in. So that's the kind of person you would choose when you're trying to consider your user. You're looking at, do you want an extreme, or do you want to go with a mainstream user in sort of getting answers for your research topics? Number two, you'll need to select a theme. So when you're thinking about a theme for your research, what is the area of study that you're trying to get? What solution are you trying to come up with? Do you want to understand the values that drives that population? Do you want to understand, the reasons and the things that drive their deep beliefs and strong opinions about certain aspects, like life choices? When you're looking at values, you, for example, would look at what is the reason why one would choose one kind of school over the other. Those are critical decisions in a person's life, right? Why would they choose one type of school over the other to take their child to? Why would they choose to save in one way versus the other way? Yeah, those are like critical decisions that affect their lives. So you might choose a theme that is more centered towards understanding the values behind choices of your population. Or you might choose to go with behavioral aspects, and you want to understand the behavioral aspects of the population. And this really is about understanding the pain points. So you might ask yourself, for specific activities that they do, for example, a banking customer, yeah? What is the last time that you went to your bank? How did you interact with your bank? Did you call? Did you walk into a branch? Did you maybe do it online? What kind of service were you looking for? What was your experience when you were in that bank? So you're getting really into to understand the behavior that advises the kind of choices that they make, yeah? So those are some of the things you'll need to decide as you're thinking about your research. Number three is the method. Now, we've talked a bit about this, especially about interviews and how you can do that. You've done a bit of exercise on conducting an interview, talked about broad versus specific questions, and all these are very important aspects of the research and what you're going to do later on in the afternoon. So I hope you did your exercise really well, because some of you I saw were struggling with 5-minute interviews. You're going to have 2 hours. So please open up your mind to think about what you're going. This is in-depth. The difference between an empathy interview and a regular interview is empathy is about getting into the heart of your user. Why do they make such decisions? What do they feel about it? And really, really understanding from the customer's point of view. We like to call it walking in the customer's shoes. So there's a lot around that, as well as observation. Watching them do something to reveal how they think. And observation comes in many ways. It might be just sitting there and watching, and I had a lot of things about people talking about how they're struggling just to watch and be silent. There are many ways that you can do an observation analysis. Sometimes it's just shadowing. For example, you're talking to an SME, and you want to understand how they do their accounting. Sometimes all you need to do is just be there and sort of walk them through, see how they receive the customer, how they write it down, how they do it, and sort of taking them through that process of observation. Yeah? So you can, and sometimes you can really learn a lot by saying nothing, but just watching. So as you're thinking about your problem area and what research you want to do around it, think about what is the best method that you're going to use to come up with the appropriate information that you require to satisfy your research question. So think about what kind of research topics, what things do you want to learn more about your users? And feel free to write that as your theme on this researcher design worksheet as well. Okay, so this will be circulated to you as well. And finally, what methods are you going to use to help you learn more about related to your theme? So are you going to do interview? Are you going to do interview, observation, and something else? And write that as well down here. Yeah, and you have about an hour to do that. So really think through about this. For most things and for most interviews, whether it is empathy or any other, planning is the most critical stage. So don't undermine the role of this whole hour. It's very, very important, because this is what determines the success of your work in the afternoon. So take some time and look through your template, discuss as a group, and come up with something exciting that will win you. You saw that thing Irene advertised here, that one. This is the time to create it. So go.